Morning, everybody. Mr. Money got a haircut. Hey, we started a little rounding on Friday. We're going to do some rounding word problems. Stay with me. I know I said word problems. Stay with me, okay? Take a look at this. It says, what is the highest number that rounds to 70? Okay? We're going to do a few of these. Grab a blank sheet of paper. I want you guys to follow along with me. All right, so we're going to find the highest number that rounds to 70. So if I'm doing a word problem, I might circle this one. I know I want to go to 70. Sometimes you want to underline the question, what is the highest number that rounds to 70? Okay. So if I want the highest number, do you think I want a number that's higher or lower than 70? That's going to be my target there. So I definitely want to try something that's higher. So I'm going to just try some numbers and see what works, okay? So what's higher than 70? How about 71, okay? Jot down 71. Now, I know I'm rounding to the nearest 10, so I'm going to look over at the ones. That 1 tells me, okay, I don't have enough. I'm not at 5 or halfway, so I'm going to round down to a 70. So, does it round to 70? Yes, it does. Is it higher than 70? Yes, it is. Can I go higher, though? Remember, I want the highest number. Let's keep going. Let's try 72. You can do the same thing. I'm rounding to the nearest 10, but I'm really looking over at the ones. The 2 does tell me to round down, so it is going to round to 70. But something tells me I could probably go higher than 72. Let me try 74. Same deal. Now, the 4 is getting closer to that 5, isn't it? But it's still going to let me round down to 70. So I tried 71, I tried 72. 74 works the best so far. Let me keep going. How about 75? Well, the 5's the halfway point, right? So that's as high as it'll go, because now we're going to start rounding up to 80, okay? So 71 worked, but I could go higher to 72. 74 worked, and it rounded to 70, so I kept going, tried to go higher. 75 rounds up to 80, so that's actually no good. So my best answer, the highest number that still rounds down to 70, is 74. So that's going to be my answer. And if you think about it, if you want to round down, you'll probably have a number that ends in a 4 or has a 4 in it somewhere, because you want a higher number that still rounds down to whatever your target is, okay? All right, so that's our answer for that one. Let's keep going. What does this say? What's the lowest number that rounds to 50? So here I'm going to box the lowest because I think that's important. I'm trying to get to 50. That's going to be my new target. We're going to do the same strategy as before, guys. I like to call this guess and check. Just going to try some numbers, see what works, okay? All right, trying to get to 50. I want the lowest number possible, so let me try something that's below 50. Well, let's try 49. Get around it to the nearest 10, so I'll circle the 4, but I'm really looking over at the ones. 9 tells me, yeah, way more than halfway, way more than 5, so I am going to bump that up to 50. So that's good. It's a low number. It still rounds to 50. Can I go lower, though? Yeah, let's try something else. Let's try 47. The 7 tells me, hey, we're still going to round up to 50. So that's correct. Can I keep going? Let's try 45. 5's halfway, isn't it? Yeah. So I am going to bump this up. It's still going to become a 50. I took a guess. I checked it. Can we go lower than 45? I don't know. Let's try it. Let's just go one lower. Let's go 44. I'm rounding to the 10s, which means I'm going to look at the ones. Now that 4 is not quite halfway, is it? It's a little bit less. So this one rounds to 40. So what's the lowest possible number that we could get that still rounds to 50? That's 45. That's my answer right there. Answer of 45. It's the lowest number that still rounds up to 50. And a lot of times if you want a low number that still goes higher, it's going to have a 5 in it somewhere. Okay? All right, we're going to do 2 more. Guess and check method. What's the next target? Well, let's go to this one. What's my highest number? I'm going to box highest. I'm trying to get to 600. Okay, so now we're going to be in the hundreds place. All right, I need a high number that gets to 600. Well, I could try 601, right? It's higher than 600, but I think I can go a little higher than that. I'm going to try with maybe 630. Okay, so now I'm rounding to the nearest hundreds place. So I'm circling the 100, but I'm really looking over at the tens. That's a 3, so not quite halfway, so I'm still going to round down back to 600. So that's a good answer. Can I go higher though? Well, let's try 640. You know, circle the hundreds, look at the tens. 4's not 5 yet, it's a little bit lower. So this also rounds to 600. So of my 2 answers, now I'm up to 640. Can I go higher than 640, but I still want to round down? Well, let's try 650. Take a minute, what do you think? Try it on your own. Does this round to 600? No, because the 5 is now halfway to 700, isn't it? So this rounds up to 700. So that's not a good answer. But there's something, I think, in between. What's lower than 650, but still higher than 640, that still gets you to 600? Well, I know the 5 and 650 is kind of the breaking point, because now we're going to start rounding up. What if I went 1 less? Try 649. Circle the 6, point to the 4. 4 tells me, no, we're not quite halfway, so we're still going to round down back to 600. That's the answer you want right there. It's the lowest, it's the highest possible number, excuse me, that still rounds back down to 600. So that's the answer I want. 649. It's way higher than 600, but it still rounds back down to 600. Okay? All right, last one. Back to the lowest number this time. What's the lowest possible number that rounds to 400? Take a minute, see if you can get it on your own. Pause the video, and then when you're ready, you can watch me do it. Okay, now don't watch until you've tried it yourself. I want the lowest number that rounds to 400. Well, if I want to go lower, maybe I'll try something like 360. Maybe you tried something different. Well, I know I'm rounding to the hundreds, so I'm going to look at the tens. My 6 is 5 or higher, so I am going to round up to 400. So that's good. It's a good answer. I think I can go lower, though. How about 355? Starting at the hundreds, but I'm going to look at the tens. The 5 tells me, hey, we're still going to round up to 400. So that's an even better answer than 360, 355. Now let's keep going. How about 350? Circle the 3, look at the 5. 5 tells me we're going to bump up to 400. And I have a feeling that that's as low as we go, because if we try 349, it's okay to try, see if it works. I circle the 3, I'm going to look at the 4. That 4 is not quite halfway. It's a little bit less then halfway to 400. So this rounds down to 300, but my target is 400. So my final answer, gang, 350 is the lowest number that rounds up to 400. Okay? All right, try a little practice.